If you are the divine creator of your experiences here, then you are also the divine creator of your resistance to them. And to create love from you and within you is just another choice of the same. You are love, and feeling love within you is the vibration needed to match the frequency of the universe and creation itself. It's the energy required to tap into the limitlessness that you are and create through you whatever it is that calls to you. But in order to do that, you need to come to terms with why you resist loving you unconditionally. Love is who and what we are, but because we create an expression of who we are that we believe to be other than love, because we choose to believe in the belief systems that tell us we're something less than love, less than oneness itself, we deny feeling love for who we are, and in doing so, hold at bay the very thing we long for most. This form of self denial is something that has fascinated me ever since I started to explore the nature of love within relation to the human spirit. So let's explore why this is and where this desire to believe in our own lack comes from. You, as a human being, are quite multifaceted. You are composed of many different parts, all vying for your attention, and all created in order to keep you alive and well. There's the part of you that wants to trust in you and your own judgment. And there's another part of you that wants support from someone you can trust in just as much, if not more. There's a part of you that loves your independence. And there's another part of you that craves connection from those around you. There's a part of you that wants a challenge. And there's also another part of you that wants ease. There's a part of you that loves play. And then there's a part of you that desires structure. There are many contrasting dynamics at play within the nature of who you are, and each one serves its own purpose with one very collective desire to feel seen, to feel heard, and to be recognized by you. These different parts of you are created in childhood. You have experiences where you feel pain, heartache, shame, judgment, guilt, and your mind looks to find reasons why. It develops belief systems and narratives that justify these feelings. And without realizing it, you move through life trying to ensure that you don't feel those uncomfortable feelings anymore. You feel more of the comfortable ones. And you also look to the people, places, things, and experiences around you to reinforce the belief systems that you created, further cementing this worldview that takes shape within and that solidifies your creation of you within it. This is where your role as divine creator begins. As soon as you think a thought, it's birthed into existence. And as soon as you feel a feeling, it's created into reality. And these thoughts and feelings about and within you are made aware of themselves through these different experiences of you. As soon as you feel something, that part of you awakens and begins its quest to feel satisfied and fulfilled by being seen and recognized by you. All of these parts of you are constantly vying for your attention because to be witnessed and granted access to you means they'll never be forgotten by you. They live on through you as long as you pay attention to them. It is your recognition of them that gives them life because they, just like you, desire to survive. Each thought and feeling about you was birthed in a moment of creation through you. and comes from a part of you that wants to be remembered. They're looking for your attention to feel recognized. And every time you feel them there, it's a sign of their very existence. So you move through each day feeling all of these parts within you tugging at you, but you can only divide your attention to so many things at once. And so it goes that the voice that screams the loudest is the one that gets your attention the most. And the part of you that screams the loudest is the one that's in the most stress. The parts of you that feel the most stress are the ones that need to feel loved the most. And they get your attention by creating pain. The reason why these parts are in distress is because they believe that they have a reason to be. They were birthed from you in a moment where you experienced pain, and they believe they have a reason to continue to feel that way. And it is only through receiving the validation from you that their feelings are valid that they can continue to exist within you. If they can get you to feel their pain too, then they can get your attention, regardless of what it costs you. And it is only through you feeling and believing in their existence that they stay alive within you. So you move through life succumbing to the cries of these parts of you, sometimes not fully understanding them consciously, but feeling them intensely. It's because of these parts that you might be feeling exhausted. It's because of these parts that you might feel lonely and misunderstood. It's because of these parts that you might be quick to anger or more sensitive with certain people or under certain conditions. It's because of these parts that you might feel that longing for something more without really knowing why or where the answer is found. As long as their cries are felt, they feel good, knowing they can continue to receive your attention and live on as they always have. Ultimately, what these parts are here to show you is where you continue to deny what's desired most. Because what they want from you more than anything is to be loved. They're in pain because they were created in a moment where you felt unseen, unheard, misunderstood, and unloved. And they continue to feel this way because you continue to deny them what they want most. But why would you even want to show them love? It would be crazy to love the parts of you that are the cause of your pain. They represent everything about you that you wish were different, everything about you that you want more than anything to fix, alter, or simply go away. And if you were to show them love, you'd be encouraging their existence. But if you can shame them, hate them, resent them, and judge them, then maybe it will be easier to change them or forget their existence. And maybe that way, the pain that they evoke will go away along with them. So you try to figure out a solution to get rid of them. You change your job, you travel, you make new friends, you change the way you look or the way you dress, you take up new hobbies, you succumb to unhealthy habits to drown out their cries. And sometimes these changes and distractions work, and sometimes they don't. And sometimes you get relief for a while, but eventually these parts come back loud and with vengeance. The reason why they never seem satisfied is because they don't want to be. They want you to be reminded that they exist. And if you spend your time ignoring their reality, they'll make sure you're reminded of them. It is only once you give them what they're truly needing that they will quiet down. Remember, you are love, and you come here to forget so that you can remember. These parts of you that create all of your pain and suffering are the parts of you that have not yet remembered who and what they are. And so they continue to ask you to be reminded through the demonstration of their pain and the need for your approval. These parts of you are the versions of you that have still not given you permission to be you. They feel pain because they believe that they should. And every time they remind you that they exist, you see them as a reminder of something within you that's wrong or less than or unworthy or worth running from. And you further amplify this belief system. But what if you were to change your relationship with these parts? What if you were to see what they really needed? Love. To remember that they are love. And if you were to feel this within you, they would feel it too. Notice any resistance to the idea of feeling love for the parts of you that create your pain. Notice any reluctance in softening towards these parts where you're used to resenting their existence. This desire to deny the love that you are and the love that you seek comes from another part of you that exists within you, the part of you that fears letting love in. Because if you were to show love to these parts of you that are in pain, what would become of them? Where would they go? How would they feel? And who would you be without them? And what would happen to this version of you if you were to no longer feel them there within you? These parts of you that create pain, they have a job to do. They remind you of your unwillingness to feel love for you. And in denying the very thing you want most, you carry with you the burden of who you believe you are instead. Because who you believe you are is not worthy of the love you seek. Who you believe you are denies that this version of you could ever love you fully. So why would you try? And who would you become if you chose to do it anyway? You see, there's disbelief at the notion that loving you is easy, and there's denial that loving you can be done without shame. And this is the battle that rages on within you. And this is the reason for your pain. There are parts of you that don't believe that you could possibly love you. And there's fear inside of the thought of doing it anyway. Because if you chose to love you, despite feeling it wasn't deserved, what would happen if you were proven right? What would it feel like to know that you didn't deserve it after all, and you were forced to face the shame of that? What would happen if you decided to love you and the truth about your unworthiness was revealed? You see, loving you is riskier than hating you, and that's why you choose not to. The idea of learning to love you feels threatening to the parts of you who aren't ready to yet. So if feeling more love within you is something you're desiring to do, this is where we need to start. Because if you could allow love from you to you, all of your pain would dissipate. Knowing there's discomfort in loving you, what if you chose to try? Where do you see an opening where offering love from you to you could be attempted without any fear of what might happen if you did? Where do you see an opening to show more compassion to the parts of you who fear you? And how can you allow that fear to exist? You see, the fear, the shame, the unworthiness that you feel don't have to go away in order for you to feel more love for you. The pain that you feel and the self-rejection that you see are simply the parts of you who continue to fear you. But when you can demonstrate that there isn't anything about you worth fearing, in time, those parts will no longer exist because you will choose to see you in a new light. You will begin to witness you in a new way. And in doing so, recreate the very nature of you in the process. Because if you create your pain, if you create your shame, and if you create the fear that you feel, then you can create something new. Love from you to you can exist inside of a reality where fear exists too. Fearing love from you to you will not be an issue because you will see that there's nothing within you worth fearing, and love will shine through alone. The path of love from you to you is created in your desire to choose it. Making the choice to love you when you don't feel worthy of it simply requires forgiveness. Forgiveness of the parts of you who still believe in the narrative that you don't deserve it. Forgiveness is the notion that what you've been thinking and believing about you until now is no longer needed, and forgiving you where you couldn't see it that way before. You're not holding judgment over you for being the you that you created, but forgiving that part of you that created it in the first place. And in doing so, offer love more freely. Because there is love in forgiveness. Love is offered when we forgive who we once were so that we can create something new in turn. But if you want to feel more love within you, you can't create it from a place of shame, guilt, judgment, and pain, because you'd simply be creating a new you with the same aspects within it. And noticing that is really the key to all of this. Love allows all mistakes freely and loves the version of you that created them. Because to be a divine creator means to create for the love of creation itself. And when you create something new from a place of love within you, you're embodying the very essence of you. Love. What would it be like to see you through the eyes of a loved one, looking back at a child who could only create from what they knew? Who could you be if you allowed you to be you and forgave the part of you that doubted that it could be okay to do that? Who could you be if you created a new you and allowed the old one to exist there too? What could it feel like to choose love inside of a world where you're taught not to? The love that you long for allows each part of you to be there because love is the allowance of you in your entirety. What if, in order to learn how to love you unconditionally, you have to experience conditional love first? What if, in order to learn how to accept all parts of you, you have to know what it's like to self-reject first? What if, in order to know what love from you to you feels like, you have to know what pain, shame, judgment, and self-hate feel like first? What if the journey from you to you is the journey of love for every experience of you? Because each one was a stepping stone teaching you how to love you and moving from forgetting to remembering through the realization that the love within you that you've been seeking was never missing in the first place. You create you. The notion that you were ever anything to be ashamed of came from you. The notion that you were ever anything to be embarrassed of came from you too. Every single belief system about you was created through the eyes of the creator within you. And what could it feel like to forgive that version of you so that you can begin to love you that much more? Love is you when you're willing to offer it freely. And the way towards love from you to you is to identify why you haven't been willing to and feel compassion for that part of you. Because there's fear in loving you when you haven't been taught how to. And the fear that's there isn't in your way. The fear that's there is the way because it's showing you the path to walk and the journey from you to you. The shame that you feel isn't blocking the way. The shame that you feel is the way through. When you can allow your shame of you, you shift from disallowing to allowing. And isn't that more loving? When you can witness the part of you that doesn't feel worthy of the love that you want, then you can see the path as clear as day. Allowing that unworthiness to exist, all the while knowing that its presence doesn't mean you can't feel love. And its presence doesn't mean you aren't worthy of it, but that its presence is just a sign that one version of you was created to feel unworthy. And if you can see that version of you as a stepping stone to get to the next one, you can feel gratitude where you didn't before and love that much more too. My dear, this is a practice of seeing the parts of you that aren't yet ready to let love in and recognizing that if you are the one creating you, then you created them too. And if you're creating the parts of you that don't allow love from you to you, then you can create love for those parts until they're ready to. Love is not the absence of pain. Love is the grantor of it. Because to feel pain is to feel the version of you that once believed that loving you was wrong to do. And when you can witness that love can coexist just as you co-create, you can soften where you once couldn't and allow where you once wouldn't, and ultimately be who you once weren't too. Self-forgiveness is not something we're taught how to do. So I'd like to guide you through an exercise of learning how to do it. This can be as simple as creating a forgiveness statement that can be repeated as a mantra in moments when you're feeling anything other than love, and recognizing that it's just coming from those parts of you that are not able to in that moment, and forgiving them and forgiving you as you learn. The following are some forgiveness statements that can be used to get you started with this practice. So repeat after me. I forgive myself for buying into the misunderstanding that it is wrong to offer myself grace. The truth is, it takes time to learn how to be compassionate with the parts of me who struggle with self-love, and learning how is what I came here to experience. I forgive myself for buying into the misunderstanding that loving me is shameful to do. The truth is, loving me is what I'm desiring to do, and allowing that to be okay requires time and patience. I forgive myself for buying into the misunderstanding that love is something that can't be granted freely and unconditionally. The truth is, learning that it's okay to offer it when needed feels good, and I'm allowing myself to feel good for as long as I choose to. I encourage you to create a forgiveness statement of your own, something that feels alive and true for you, and repeating it to yourself as often as you need to. And if you notice any discomfort inside of this exercise, It's just coming from a part of you that doesn't yet feel ready to offer or receive love from you to you. It's just showing you where more compassion is needed as that part learns to feel safe feeling loved and offering it freely, and where there's more room for that much more love to be felt and granted in time. So, what happens next? What becomes available for you when you choose to love you? And how does loving you open you up to what's truly available for you here, now, and forevermore? Tune in next week when we explore what a world of love reveals for you within it. If the messages here resonate with you, and if you're ready to begin witnessing, embracing, and embodying your light and accessing the divine creator within, come join my community home. Inside of Home, you'll have access to live events, a library of meditations and somatic exercises, and an incredible community of open-hearted and like-minded people. And if you're at all unsure, it's completely free to join. So you can take all the time you need to explore what's in there, watch recordings from past events, and get a feel for what's truly available for you when you give yourself permission to come home to you. Head to the show notes to find the link to join us.